Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're taking a closer look at a sermon excerpt. It's from May 11th. And it dives into the book of Revelation and, well, its impact on Jesus' disciples. Kind of profound, really.
Yeah, it is.
So the question we're exploring is, what really changed for them? You know, how did they suddenly face all this hardship with such a different perspective?
Right. And maybe what we can learn from that for our own challenges,
Exactly. What's the takeaway for you listening?
Okay, so the sermon, it really zeroes in on this incredible shift. The disciples, they were facing, potential death, real suffering.
That's serious stuff.
Absolutely. But they somehow gained this ability to vividly imagine. The excerpt uses the word dream about God's abundance, his presence being right there with them.
Dreaming. Okay, let's unpack that a little. It doesn't sound like escapism, like just tuning out the bad stuff.
No, not really. It seems more like even in the middle of the difficulty, they could hold on to this picture of God's comfort, his guidance, this sort of higher calling, something that went beyond the immediate pain.
Like an inner vision almost, an anchor.
An anchor is a good way to put it, yeah. It's like their focus shifted, the suffering was still real, very real, but their ability to, let's say, envision that hopeful future, which was grounded in their faith, it helped them sort of rise above it in a way. And this leads to a really fascinating question the speaker raises in the sermon.
Which is?
Well, are easy times actually better for building strong faith?
Yeah.
Or is it the tough times, the challenges? Yeah.
That's quite the paradox, isn't it?
It really is. What does that make you think, considering the disciples?
Well, it feels counterintuitive. You'd naturally assume smooth sailing makes faith easier. Less doubt, maybe?
Sure, that's the logical thought.
But this example, it suggests the hardships actually force them to dig deeper, to really need and therefore visualize that divine presence more intensely.
Exactly, like the pressure cooker effect, maybe? It intensified their connection, their reliance on that inner vision.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And another point the sermon makes is that this wasn't just some internal feeling they kept to themselves.
Oh, how so?
Others noticed. People around them saw a definite change, this newfound steadfastness, this resilience when facing major threats.
Ah, so it was observable.
Yeah. And apparently before this, they might have been, more easily rattled by smaller problems. We see that in the Gospels.
Right. Panicking in the boat, things like that.
Exactly. So this ability to hold on to those dreams, as the sermon calls them, those images of God with them, that's what made the difference. It distinguished them.
So it manifested outwardly. Yeah. That resilience wasn't just an idea, it was visible in their actions, how they carried themselves through danger, fueled by that inner hope.
Precisely.
Okay, so wrapping this up then.
Yeah.
For you listening, what's the core takeaway here? It seems to boil down to the power of, well, consciously cultivating that imaginative hope.
That connection, yeah. Even when things feel bleak.
So maybe the final thought for you is this. When you're facing difficulties, what role does your own inner vision play? Or could it play?
How might actively, trying to nurture that sense of hope, that connection to something bigger than the immediate problem, how might that reshape things for you?
Reshape your experience, your resilience.
Yeah. What are the dreams, those mental pictures of hope, of strength, of companionship, perhaps?
Yeah.
What could sustain you?
It's definitely something to think about, how tending to that inner landscape, that vision, could be a real source of strength when navigating, well, life's inevitable challenges.
Absolutely. Food for thought.